Hey everyone, so I'm making this video because I feel like the people that have watched the only video that's on my channel don't know enough about me. So I have some things I want to talk about here, some written down. And before I go on, I really want to thank DMT Infinity for asking like how I'm doing basically, because it's been a while since I made that LSD trip video. I think it was 2015. I think yeah, it was like 2015. It was really cold, I remember, so probably like close to December, something like that. Right now it's 2017 in July, so it's been about what, year and a half, right? Obviously I look different, I'm much thinner. My voice is different too, grown a little, right? Whatever. But thanks to DMT Infinity for asking me how I'm doing. I'm doing fine. But let's get into the video. And what I want to talk about today is why I've stopped tripping altogether, right? Let me go back. The first time I took any psychedelics in general, I'm not talking about like weed or whatever alcohol, right? I'm talking like psychedelics. The first psychedelic I took was LSD, and it was back when I was a junior in high school. I'm a what is it, a sophomore in college now, second year, yeah. It's been about 4 years since I took LSD for the first time, and at first I remember, like, it was freaking amazing, right? It's like I've never seen such visuals in my life. It was like, it was shocking to me, and so obviously, and with a little bit of my obsessive personality, right, obsessive nature, and I had a little bit of money at the time. I was working, right, and I wasn't really spending money, so I just had money. So I'd buy like, pretty good amount of acid in high school. I would buy like a tab would go for like $10 to $15, and each trip I would take like 2 or 3. So that could run me like $30, right, $40, and I would do it like every 2 weeks. So I was tripping a lot back then. Probably per month I would trip like twice, if not like 3 or 4 times even, because I don't know, I was just kind of an addict, right? Although LSD is not, I don't think it's addictive physically, right? But I still enjoyed the experience. So naturally I took more and more, and I realized that this is when it kind of scared me. I was driving down the road, right, and I come to a stoplight, and I looked up the light, and I swear to God, the light. Okay, so it starts here. It always starts on my left side, so I'm assuming this is your left side. Just imagine the left side, right? And it just waves like throughout the whole the stoplight. And then I looked down, and the road was like kind of doing the same thing, but like, in the way that the road is going. And it scared the shit out of me, like, holy shit, like, I'm not tripping acid right now, like, why am I tripping? And so I did some research on that, and I found out that I was suffering from HPPD, which I think stands for something persisting disorder, which means like you keep tripping even though you're not tripping. I forgot what it stood for, but basically like you're on acid even though you're not. And it's kind of annoying, right, when you're trying to do stuff, and like the after effect kind of gets in the way. In the beginning stages of your LSD experiment, like, you will really feel different, as if like the LSD changes you into like a different person, right? It's kind of like rolling a dice. If you ever played like Maple Story back in the day, or any of those other MMORPG games, right, where you had to like roll a dice, to like determine the character like starting stats or whatever, and then like you have to keep rolling it like for hours and hours trying to get that perfect stat, you know. It was like that, right? So I was, each time take a dose, I would like trip out for 12 hours, and then next morning I was kind of a different person, even though I was not. Stuff like that. And the more you do that, like, the more distant you get from reality, and you kind of get stuck in this like trip world in your head, and it's really annoying, and you can't get out of it. I heard people describing schizophrenia, and like just imagine schizophrenia like minus the voices telling you to do bad stuff, right? It's just kind of visual, and it's hard to focus. Your tongue gets tied a lot, which is really annoying when I'm trying to talk, right? And so when I noticed that was hindering me and just like my social skills in general, I was more like inward guy than I was before. I was really introverted. Took more acid. Now I'm extremely introverted. Well, when I noticed that HPPD like kind of taking effect or whatever, and so I stopped it. I heard someone say, with LSD you get the message and then you stop, and so I felt like, well, I got the message, probably shouldn't be doing it anymore, because I feel like if I keep taking acid, like I'm never gonna like be sober again, and that's kind of that's a sobering thought, right? And I was, I was just scared. I was scared to enter back in that like trippy world. I was happy to just be like in the real world, and I was trying to recover from that HPPD, thinking that it's gonna get better in like weeks or something. It didn't. That the stoplight thingy that I was talking about, how it goes from, I guess, the left side to like the right side, and it just waves up like that. It goes wave and then wave and then wave. It still happens today. Like, I don't really experience the HPPD anymore. Like, I'm talking normally, right? My tongue doesn't get tied as much as before, but that stop light thing, it always happens. Every time I come to a specific stop sign, or stop light, sorry, it always goes from left to right, and it's always the same like wave, and that just reminds me that, hey, like, I took a lot of psychedelics back in my days, and my brain's fucked up now. Is basically what my body's trying to tell me. I think, and so again, that is kind of why I stopped. Another thing that I think contributed to that whole HPPD thing is that sometimes when you're buying acid, you don't get acid all the time. Like, there's one other drug called NBOMe, or 25I or 25C. They're known as those names, or NBOMes, right? And they basically just look like little tabs. They look the same as acid, but when you take it, you'll know it tastes really metallic. I took it on purpose just to like let myself know what it would feel like when I take one, so that next time I take it, I'll just spit it out immediately or something like that, And the thing tastes really like bitter, and the trip is different too. It's more electric-y and doesn't really give you an insight. It's more entertainment drug, right? But it feels really close to acid. So drug dealers will sell it, they claim that it's an acid, but it's really NBOMe, and it's a research drug, meaning like people don't know a whole lot about this stuff, right? It's kind of there. Someone made it for whatever purpose that they were trying to research, and like we would be like their lab rats or whatever. So. And like I had no idea. I took the drug thinking that it was acid. It was fucking NBOMe, right? And with NBOMe, I did notice a lot more HPPD. There was at one point, like, I wasn't even talking to anybody. Like just my teacher, whenever they called my name or whatever, right? I became like that outcast in the classroom, like in the corner of the classroom. I just couldn't talk. Like talking was so fucking hard. Like it would stay here, it would come up to here, but it would just never like flow out my tongue like it does now. And it's really fucking frustrating when you want to say something but it just doesn't come out the mouth. And so when I found out about NBOMe and how damaging it can be to your brain, I was like, I'm gonna take this for the one last time. Okay, make sure that I can identify this later. And that was it. I never tripped after that. Although I lied about that. I did trip one more time on mushrooms, which is, I'll tell you about that later. I have some more stories about other drugs I've taken, but as far as like acid goes, I don't do any of that stuff anymore. Any other drugs really, I don't do that. Like they seem really interesting back in the days. I wanted to try them all, and I tried a lot of it. I don't know. Never really interested me. For me, psychedelics was like the apex of, or the pinnacle of like the drug, right? And when I kind of got bored of that, like no other drugs really interested me, besides like weed and alcohol, right? But yeah, as far as like tripping goes, I don't like to trip anymore. I don't want to go back to that world. I don't want to be locked up in my head again. I don't think it's worth it in my mind. Although the trips I've taken before, I think they're worth it. Maybe not all of them, but I'm glad I tripped at least a few times in my life. Okay, I tripped way more than that in my life, but at least a few times, right? I don't know if I should be thankful that I'm given this opportunity. Like I don't even know how I even found out about drugs or LSD in general. So I don't know if I should, thank whoever introduced me to that kind of stuff first, or I don't know. I have a lot of mixed feelings when it comes to LSD. So I guess that's it. Well, thank you again to DMT Infinity for asking how I'm doing after a year and a half. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you stuck around to this point of video, I really appreciate you watching the video. And please comment below how you feel about, after hearing my story. Like, have you ever experienced anything like that, like HPPD? Have you ever bought LSD or thinking that it's LSD and it wasn't? Like, just comment below. I want to know too. I'm really curious. Thank you guys.